Hello guys, my name is Rizky from acreativealt and today I'm gonna talk about cameras. One of the most common questions that I've gotten from some of my friends or some of my relatives who are starting to do video productions and photography is that what camera should I buy? I have a couple of different videos highlighting what cameras that I would recommend to buy if you were to start your photography and video productions career. Until now, my recommendation is always have been Sony system. In fact, we've been using the Sony system for most of our projects for a while. Whenever I purchase a camera, I am very paranoid in terms of the camera may be faulty when we are actually doing the job. I always believe in having multiple backups. Most of the time, we need two main cameras in a project. It's either when we are doing a video with two different angles and we have another two cameras as a backup, or when we are actually doing some sort of an event coverage whereby we have one photographer and one videographer. So each of them will actually have a backup camera. We've been using the Sony system for all professional productions nowadays. I was actually a Nikon shooter in the past. The reason why we moved to Sony is the fact that it kind of balances between both photography and video. We have multiple different cameras. I have multiple A7 III, A6500, which is still the camera that I would like to recommend if you are actually starting out. And I also have an A6400 that is actually my vlog camera. I simply bought this because of this flip screen. Being a tiny business owner, I always try to explore cheaper way of doing things, different gears that may be value for money ways to produce our projects for clients. And recently, we have gotten a pretty big project that requires us to shoot with 3 videographers and 1 photographer. Needless to say, we don't have enough cameras plus backup for that particular project. I was actually one of the photographer and I actually need to shoot some photos at the same time. I need to act as a producer to produce the videos for that particular project. So I was trying to find cheaper backup alternatives. Of course, one of the consideration is actually to rent a backup. It was a multiple days project. I was actually doing some calculations whether it's gonna be cheaper for me to just purchase a camera or rent it for multiple days. And of course, when you're actually needing the camera for multiple days, buying it may be a more viable option. At the same time, I kinda think this is a good opportunity for me to explore different camera system. And one of the camera system that I really like from the past is actually the Fuji system. And I'm pretty hopeful for the new Fuji system because I've seen a lot of a good review on the F-Log. I know the new X-T4 can actually record 4K 60p, which is pretty rare to see in a Sony camera. I'm not sure about brand new super expensive Sony camera, whether it actually comes with the 4K 60p or not, but I know for all the A7 III that we are using, they have 4K, but there's no option for slow motion for it. And one of the reasons why I also consider Fuji system is the fact that I had a couple of Fuji system in the past, and I still have a flash for Fuji system. Based on the calculations that I've done, it actually will cost me about $800 to rent a set of camera for the day. That includes renting the camera body, the lens, and the flash. I decided to spend $1,000 to buy a camera set, and I can use it for other projects in the future. So I decided to do some diggings and I found a really good deal in this particular Fuji camera. This is actually the Fuji XT2, which is what Fuji considered professional line back then. It's a pretty old camera. Now they already come up with the XT4. This is about 2 generations older than the brand new camera. But I do believe specs wise nowadays, any cameras that are launched within the past 3 years, it's good enough. In my kind of a usage, I shoot mainly corporate stuff, so I do believe the specs on this camera is more than sufficient. I am very lucky that I managed to get this set for about $1,000 and it comes with this Fuji XF1655 f2.8, which is actually the high-end zoom lens that Fuji has. I was pleasantly surprised with this set. It focuses really fast, and it has a really nice bokeh as well. And one thing that I always like about the Fuji system is the fact that everything is pretty much analog. We have all these analog dials. I'm a big fan of a vintage camera. I have a couple of different vintage camera collections in my office. I don't really use it anymore, but it's simply just for decorations purpose. And the Fuji camera has a throwback to this particular feel of a camera. So I've used this camera for 3 projects so far. This XT2 is actually the first Fuji camera that has an F-Log. So if you want to explore F-Log format on a Fuji camera but you are not willing to buy the latest Fuji system, you can actually try this X-T2 because they have the F-Log in stock. I'm very lucky for us here in Singapore that COVID-19 is pretty much manageable. Corporate events are start coming back. The difference about nowadays and as compared to pre-COVID period is that most of the events that we shot are pretty much a hybrid types of events. One thing about the hybrid types of events, I can't go crazy with all the flash setup. In the past, I always mount an off-camera flash on the events hall so I can actually trigger it when we're actually doing some sort of a prize-giving ceremony, VIP kind of a signing or whatsoever. But nowadays, we can't go crazy with the flash setup because it's going to affect the live stream. So what I did was I simply have this particular camera, Fuji X-T2 with the zoom lens 1655, which is equivalent of the 2470 on a full frame format, plus this Fuji V860 flash. If you are someone who are starting out your photography career and you need an affordable set to start with, these are the sets that I really want to recommend. So with that, what do you guys think about the Fuji system? Any of you guys actually use the Fuji X-T2 in the professional settings nowadays? And if you have any recommendations of affordable professional gears that you would like to recommend, you can let me know in the comment below. If you want to know what I shoot for a living, you can follow my daily behind the scene on my Instagram. So with that, thank you so much for watching and I see you next time.